Dragon Age Origins Awakening was rated M for mature by the ESRB and contains blood, intense violence, language, partial nudity, and sexual content. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello everyone, my name is Amaronith and I play games for the internet, and today we're playing Dragon Age Origins Awakening. I thought it was best if we did some codex readings. I also screwed up and didn't check and missed out on some quest-related stuff and some notes, so we'll be reading those today too. Let's just get rid of that. Once again, we won't be reading controls. But okay, let's go, starting with creatures. Article 3, Archdemon. In darkness eternal they searched for those who had goaded them on, until at last they found their prize, their god, their betrayer, the sleeping dragon Dumat. Their taint twisted even the false god, and the Whisperer awoke at last in pain and horror, and led them to wreak havoc upon all the nations of the world. The First Blight. Threnades 8-7. The false dragon gods of the Tevinter Imperium lie buried deep within the earth, where they have been imprisoned since the Maker cast them down. No one knows what it is that drives the Darkspawn in their relentless search for the sleeping old gods. Perhaps it is instincts, as moth will fly into torch flames. Perhaps there is some remnant of desire for vengeance upon the ones who goaded the Magisters to assault heaven. Whatever the reason, when the Darkspawn find one of these ancient dragons, it is immediately afflicted by the taint. It awakens, twisted and corrupted, and leads the Darkspawn in a full-scale invasion of the land. A blight. Nathaniel was once the Tevinter god of beauty. In ancient times, he was worshipped by musicians, artists, and poets. The Feast of Nathaniel was the grandest celebration of the year, an event that lasted a full 12 days. Plays and entire symphonies were written in his honor. Now he is a maddened husk of his former self, filled with nothing but a desire to destroy all life. When the first blight began, many brave men and women threw themselves at Dumat, but the first archdemon, trying to strike him down, but no matter the numbers, no matter their strength, he would always return. This was proof, some said, of his divine power. But the Grey Wardens soon learned otherwise. Their tainted blood bound them to the archdemon, and they could hear it, feel it, as it died and was born anew, its spirit drawn to possess the nearest tainted creature. The Darkspawn were mindless, soulless, empty shells of flesh that could be bent and remade in the dragon's image. But a man's soul was not so malleable. When a warden's hand struck the fatal blow against Dumat, the old god's spirit was drawn not to Darkspawn, but to the man who had slain him. In that moment, the souls of both the warden and the archdemon were utterly destroyed, and a dragon rose no more. The blight was over. Article 10, Charred Sylvan. Occasionally, demons attempt to escape the fate by possessing something other than mortal flesh. By corrupting a tree, for instance, a demon avoids the madness that results from possessing a sentient creature. Demon-possessed trees are known as wild sylvans. On rare occasions, demons possess trees almost completely destroyed by fire, but that still retain a spark of life. This union often rekindles the fire that first damaged the tree, resulting in a sylvan that burns continuously without being destroyed. Article 15, The Disciples. The Disciples are Darkspawn that have become sapient after some sort of process of awakening, after which they choose their own names. They are cunning, powerful, and hold influence over non-awakened Darkspawn. Magic and Religion. Article 59, Pilgrims and Amaranthine. The faithful travel great distances to see the birthplace of Andraste and Denerim, yet many make their pilgrimage longer still by visiting Amaranthine. After all, it was from the city's port that Maferath and his army departed to invade the Tevinter Imperium, and the chantry of Our Lady Redeemer now stands on the site where Andraste first revealed the Chant of Light. This is why the road that joins Amaranthine to Denerim is known as the Pilgrim's Path, and why the chantry of Our Lady Redeemer is the wealthiest chantry in all of Ferelden. From Annals of Northern Ferelden by Brother Badine, Chantry Scholar. Culture and History, Article 101, The Crown and Lion. One Saturnalia long ago, a bevy of bards met in Amaranthine to determine whose songs best stirred emotion and whose stomachs best digested foul brew. The first bard fell mid-ballad into his barley soup, and the second into the lap of a lass most fair. Some say forfeiture was worth the price. The next could not keep his innards inside. One by one they succumbed to fatigue, boredom, or insobriety. At the end, no man was left standing. There was only I, the lovely and fair Rosalind, master and mistress of the Crown and Lion, who proved that no man is mightier than the slightest of lasses. From The War of Lions by the bard Rosalind. Article 102. The Port City of Amaranthine. Outside of Ferelden, the city of Amaranthine is now synonymous with the Arling herself, but before the Orlesian invasion it was only a modest fishing village despite a deep port well suited to commerce. At the time, few other kingdoms had any need to trade with the Ferelden barbarians. The city changed rapidly when the Orlesians came. They built temporary docks to accommodate ships packed with chevaliers, and for a time Amaranthine was the capital of occupied Ferelden. The Ban of Amaranthine became one of the wealthiest nobles in the kingdom, as goods like wool were leached from the city's swollen ports. During the Liberation, the fleeing Orlesians looted the city but left it otherwise unscarred. She recovered quickly. Ironically, Amaranthine's current prosperity is the legacy of Orlesian occupation. Do not share that opinion with the locals, mind. From Annals of Northern Ferelden by Brother Badine, Chantry Scholar. Article 108. The Howes of Amaranthine. The Howes of Amaranthine are one of the oldest noble families in Ferelden. Their lineage traces to the time of Calenhad, where Elias Howe was one of the first freeholders to follow Calenhad. During the occupation, Earl Tarleton Howe, Rendon Howe's father, threw his lot in with the Orlesians. After several bitter battles with the rebels, the town of Harper's Ford, an outpost governed by Tarleton Howe, fell to the Couslands of Highever. Tarleton hanged. Rendon brought the Howe family over to the side of Mark Terran and Logain MacTier's rebellion. Rendon's bravery at the Battle of White River, fighting alongside Bryce Cousland, earned back his family's honor. When King Marek took the throne in Free Ferelden, Rendon Howe was decorated for his service. From Annals of Northern Ferelden by Brother Badine, Chantry Scholar. Is there anything else? Oh, yeah, there's a bunch. Article 172. Surfacer Dwarves. Cloudgazer, Stoneblind, Skyer, these are how dwarves describe their surfacer cousins. It's traditional to snort these words with disdain. A dwarf who goes topside forfeits his caste, his house, and the favor of his ancestors. Once he sets foot on the surface, he is no longer welcome in Orzammar. Still, in recent years, a great many dwarves have moved to the surface. Some are casteless and have nothing to lose. Others believe they have something to gain. Some think it's only a matter of time before Orzammar falls to the Darkspawn. Then there are the merchant caste dwarves with their frightful flair for business. I met one who nearly talked me into buying my own hat. I dare say most merchants don't give a nugget about losing their caste or the favor of their ancestors. Not the way they're compensated. From Tales from Beneath the Earth by Brother Genitivi. Article 173. The Great Strife. Worn inscriptions deep in the bowels of Vigil's Keep tell of the Avar clan that settled here. With our warriors unmatched in skill and strength, and here we settled in the caves carved by the hand of Korth the Mountain Father. Radan, shaman of the people, turned from the gods who had ever sheltered him. In his grief, he destroyed the gifts of the Mountain Father and brought us low. Article 174, the First Warden. The nominal leader of our order is the First Warden, but you can expect little assistance or guidance so far from the Anderfells. Even those close to Weishaupt learn to suffer alone. The murmurs are true. The First Warden is often embroiled in the politics of the Anderfells and has little opportunity to consider worldly matters. I would like to believe that it is a matter of survival, not of political self-interest. Know that your mission is vital. You carry the hopes of our order. If the highest among us holds noble titles outside of the Anderfells, perhaps we will be better situated when the next blight comes, as we all know it must. A confidential report for the Warden Commander. Article 175. Vassals and their Liege. Some kingdoms rigidly define the rights of the vassals and their duty to their liege. In Ferelden, a relatively new kingdom, the Arls and Arlesses theoretically command their Arlings, bands, and lords. In practice, those lessers often zealously maintain their independence. Some Ferelden vassals must be goaded instead of ordered, swayed, not ruled. Vassals owe military obligations to their liege, yet often deny even sworn oaths and signed contracts. In contrast, the vassals expect their liege's protection despite provocation otherwise. A successful Ferelden liege applies force, persuasion, and duplicity in equal measure, from A Guide to Statecraft, published anonymously. Article 176. The Vigil. Vigil's Keep is one of the oldest settlements in Ferelden, older than Denerim and Gwaren. The barbarians who battled the Tevinter Imperium chose this location for a fortress so that their warning fires would be visible at great distance when Tevinter ships neared the coast. The Vigil has seen battle in every major invasion of Ferelden. Tevinter's rival barbarian clans and Orlesians have all held her battlements. The Vigil was the first fortress to fall to the Orlesians and the last to be freed. The cellar beneath Vigil's Keep retains traces of the Avar barbarians. To the Avars, the Vigil was both a fortress and a holy site. The cellars bear monuments to their gods, heroes, and their rare military victories. Characters. Article 178. Anders. Most people enjoy being kicked in the head to be woken up each morning. Me, I'm just so picky. Anders is an apostate mage. He was arrested by Templars who intended to cart him back to the Circle Tower. Vigil's Keep was to have been a short stop on their long journey. Unfortunately, the keep was attacked just after the group arrived, and Anders was found standing over the bodies of his captors. He insists they were killed by Darkspawn. Regardless, Anders joined Faria to defeat the Darkspawn in Vigil's Keep. Afterwards, Anders was recruited into the Grey Wardens. He survived the joining. The Warden Commander gave Anders a kitten as a gift. Anders stowed the kitten, Sir Pouncelot, in the folds of his robe. Anders' old friend Nemaya revealed that the Templars had moved the phylacteries for most mages in Ferelden, including Anders, to the city of Amaranthine, but the warehouse where the phylacteries were supposedly stored was actually a Templar trap. Varia stood with Anders against the Templars, for which the mage was grateful. Anders takes great pride in his appearance and enjoys fine things. Article 189. Oghren. Now let's go introduce some Darkspawn arses to my foot. It's only the polite thing to do. Oghren was once married to Branka, Orzamar's sole living paragon, but she left him to search for the Anvil of the Void. Oghren took to drink, then accidentally killed another warrior in a drunken proving match. For this mistake, Oghren was stripped of his house and barred from bearing weapons, for a warrior worse than exile. When the Grey Wardens called for aid from the Dwarves, Orzamar's throne was contested, and only a paragon could settle the dispute. Oghren, hoping to find his wife, offered to guide the party through the deep roads. But Branka's obsession with the Anvil of the Void had driven her mad. The Wardens helped choose a new king, and Oghren, having lost everything, left with the Wardens. When the blight ended, Oghren settled down with his old flame Felsi and had a child, but domestic bliss did not last, and so Oghren traveled to Vigil's Keep in hope of becoming a warden himself. Oghren survived the joining. His extensive experience drinking bitter swill likely helped. Felsi arrived at Vigil's Keep demanding to see Oghren. Their conversation ended poorly. Oghren's passion for strong drink hasn't waned. Article 200. Mhairi. Allow me to say I'm very proud to serve under your command. Mhairi was a knight in Ferelden's army until agreeing to join the Grey Wardens. She can think of no greater honor, no better way to serve the nation, and is eager to undertake the joining. Sadly, Mhairi's enthusiasm did not save her. She perished in the joining like so many others before her, and was laid to rest as a Grey Warden. Article 201. Morrigan. Witch of the Wild, such idle fancies, those legends. Have you no minds of your own? Such idle fancies. Blah. Of herself, Morrigan says little. She does not deny being a witch of the wilds, but beyond that, everything about her is in question. Her mother claims to be Flemeth. If that is true, Morrigan might well be a very powerful witch, for the tales of the daughters of Flemeth tell of twisted, monstrous women who can kill a man with fear. She was made to accompany the surviving Grey Wardens, the payment, Flemeth said, for saving their lives at the Tower of Ishal. God, I keep stumbling over my words. On the eve of battle with the Archdemon, she made an offer to the Wardens, sire a child with her, and she could use it to capture the Archdemon's soul at the moment of death, saving the Wardens who struck the killing blow. After the battle, Morrigan disappeared. Article 202. Nathaniel. The Howes are pariahs now, those of us left. Nathaniel Howe is the son of the disgraced Earl Rendon Howe, and among the last scions of a once great family. He blames the Grey Wardens for his father's death and had intended to assassinate the Warden commander. Upon seeing Vigil's keep, however, his childhood home, Nathaniel decided to simply reclaim some family treasures. The Wardens caught Nathaniel breaking in. Faria, impressed to hear that it took 4 Wardens to capture Nathaniel, invoked the right of conscription, making the young Howe a Warden recruit. Nathaniel undertook the joining and survived. In a chance encounter with the Howe's old groundskeeper, Nathaniel learned that his sister Delilah had married a shopkeeper in the city. Nathaniel was eager to find her, but Delilah was content with her commoner husband and revealed that their father was exactly the tyrant everyone claimed. In time, Nathaniel came to terms with his sister's choices and his family legacy. Nathaniel is a sensible fellow who values practical gifts over useless trinkets. Article 210. Seneschal Varel. Varel has spent his life defending Amaranthine. When Rendon Howe was Earl, Varel briefly became Seneschal of Vigil's keep, but he repeatedly objected to Howe's orders and was demoted to lower and lower ranks. Nonetheless, he continued to serve with defiance. When Howe's acts turned more sinister, Varel secretly sheltered those in need and used what little power he had to counteract the Earl's atrocities. Soon, Varel was languishing in the dungeon awaiting execution, but Howe died first. When the Grey Wardens took over Amaranthine, the order reappointed Varel as Seneschal. Although Varel is not a warden himself, his position as chief administrator of the Warden's lands makes him privy to the many secrets of the order, including the joining ritual. This rare honor is a testament to his character. Oh, that's why. Books and Songs, Article 247. Canticle of Maferath. These verses were carved into statues in the Wending Wood. They appear to be from the Canticle of Maferath, which the chantry includes among the dissonant verses, unacknowledged in the Chant of Light. Spite ate away all that was good, kind, and loving, till nothing was left but the spite itself, coiled round my heart like a great worm. And in my darkest hour I turned from her and vowed that I would destroy her. And she came to me in a vision and laid her hand on my heart. Her touch was like fire that did not burn, and by her touch I was made pure again. Despair not, said she, for your betrayal was Maker blessed and returned me to his side. I am forgiven. Notes. Article 258. A letter from Aura. Dearest Christophe, my sister and her babe are well. I shall leave Jedor as soon as they're settled. Expect me at Vigil's keep within a month. Ferelden is cold and wet, so make sure your socks are dry before you put them on. I know how it is with men. You can slay 1,000 darkspawn, but when it comes to clean clothes and dry socks, you're hopeless. I can't wait to see you. Love, Aura. Articles 265. A letter from Leliana. Dearest, I hope you are well. Alas, I am unable to come to the keep as promised. I am so sorry, but the Grand Cleric herself wishes to speak with me. I will tell you all about it once I have had my audience. Is it true the Darkspawn have not retreated? No matter, I am sure you have it under control. Wish I could be there, killing Darkspawn beside you. Perhaps you could save some for me? All right, that was a joke. Do not spare them. That would be silly. You are always in my thoughts. Love, Leliana. P.S. Maybe you could consider growing some roses around your keep. That would make it so much prettier, don't you think? Oh, Leliana, I miss you. Article 266. Orders to the Militia. Kendall. The caravans can't get through the woods, and the village is running low on supplies. It's that Dalish clan causing trouble again, I know it. I had my man speak to their keeper several months back, and she, I think it was a she, you can't tell with these elves, said that they'd leave for more remote parts. It looks as though they're back, likely their stupid landships blocking the roads. They're a stubborn race, and more than a little dense. I must trouble you for a favor. Go to the Wending Wood and order them to leave. Mayor Grisby. Fuck you, Mayor Grisby. Article 268, a letter to Rendon Howe. My Lord Howe, some of the men are not pleased with your plan. They will incite others against you. For the plan to succeed, our forces must be united. If the word gets out, if even one of them informs Cousland, it will be your head on a plate. I say this with all due respect, sir. Your Captain, Lowen. Article 269, response from Rendon Howe. Lowen, we can't afford an insurrection. Put any troublemakers in chains. Do whatever it takes to weed them out. Whatever it takes, Lowen. Do not fail me. Arl Rendon Howe. Quest-related, Article 331. A Scholar's Journal. 7 Cloudreach. Ordered roast boar at the inn. Love that stuff. I shared the meal with a weary old traveler newly arrived via the Pilgrim's Path. Told me that he stumbled upon an odd structure of stone. It's in the Wending Wood. He showed me a souvenir he brought back, one of the smaller stones. It looked familiar somehow. 9 Cloudreach. I remember where I saw that stone, an old history book in Denram's Chantry. The Tevinters built structures to harness mystical energies. Most have been destroyed, the stones used for construction, yet the traveler claims this one survives. 10 Cloudreach. He was at the inn again and sold me the stone. I'm heading to the Wending Wood as soon as I find a caravan, although people seem wary of the place. Article 29 Justinian. Finally found a caravan. Nervous lot, though. Barely halted to let me out. Found the structure and spent the day studying it. Burned myself on the magical fire several times, but I think I figured it out. Must make a path of fire that connects all the stones in a single loop. Will attempt after I drive away whatever creature's making that rustling noise. Well, that's that for the Codex entries. And I'll see you next time when we continue through the Wending Wood. Until then, bye-bye.